This will be our final transmission until we reach Neo's Cosmos. The entire crew and colonists and their families are now in suspended animation. When I have finished this message, I myself will enter my Suzanne pod, or as Lieutenant Herring likes to call it, coffin. I made sure he doesn't call them that around the children. I don't think they'd appreciate his gallows humor. We are now leaving the solar system, and I will be turning over control to the computer. As soon as I am asleep, the ship will begin the rapid acceleration to 0.99 light speed. We should arrive at Neos Cosmos in just under 67 years. Some of you hearing this will be a lot older, and some won't be there at all. All I can say is, thank you. Wish us luck. Commanding HCP Starship Humanity. Out.
Well, they're in God's hands now.
Or rather, ISIS's.
Let us hope so. You did not have much time to develop such a complex computer control system.
We had been working on the Artificial Intelligent Spaceship System Integration Protocol for some time for the Japanese space program. We simply, or rather, not so simply, had to reconfigure it for the size and mission parameters of humanity, hence AI-SSI Series 6.
I worry about sending all those passengers along, especially the children.
Dr. Douglas, Karen, the Humanity's a colony ship. Those passengers are all experts in their fields of agriculture, botany, biology, engineering. They're founding a new civilization.
By your estimates, the environmental damage that continues to be done to the Earth will make it uninhabitable in little more than 200 years. A process that will become irreversible in less than 20 years. We could waste 100 of those years confirming what our remote probes have told us by sending an expedition.
I realize that, Charles. I guess I'm being oversensitive for a scientist.
Not at all, Karen. We did undertake this task for the future generation, after all.
Doctors. I'm sorry I'm late. I heard the transmission over the speakers as I came in. So, they are finally on their way.
Yes, and, as you can see, the remote satellites tracked them leaving the solar system at tremendous speeds.
Did you have any trouble with the others, Professor Kuznetsov?
Not really. The Chinese are still complaining that we wouldn't send more than one family to represent them, since they are the most populous country.
You hear the Indians living, and there are almost as many.
I explained to them that it is about saving the human race, not any one genetic variant.
That's rather cold.
At least they got the point. As for the rest of United Nations, they could not say much, since the Human Continuity Project is a privately funded and operated multinational organization.
And since every world major power shut down their space programs more than 50 years ago, they have no say in what we do out there.
They have ruined the world we live on. So, we begin the move to another one.
One that will be treated with the respect it deserves.
Still, I worry about the children.
Color Theatrical Productions, in association with the Niagara Falls School of Drama, presents The Children of Humanity, a science fiction play for radio, written and directed by Colin Sears.
Human Continuity Project Starship Humanity Ship's Log 17,376.64 Earth days from departure of Sol System. Artificial Intelligence Starship System Integration Series 6 recording. All systems are nominal. Approaching 18 Scorpii system. Reducing deceleration to 1 gravity. Estimated orbit around Neos Cosmos in 9.56 days. All stasis chambers reading normal. To date, have performed 224 orbit and landing simulations with 97.87% success rate. Failures encountered during simulations due to randomized potential hazards such as weather, flying lifeforms, orbital debris, etc. have altered navigation programming to compensate. Approaching outer planets of system. Reducing deceleration to 0.5 gravities. Estimated time until orbit around Neos Cosmos, 4 days, 16 hours, 22 minutes. Beginning crew pre-resuscitation procedures. Warning! Uncharted asteroid collision detected. I predict current course will intersect debris in 12 hours, 17 minutes. Chance of survival, 15.29%. Adjusting course and speed to avoid debris. Accelerating pre-resuscitation procedures. Course correction ineffective. Will pass through outer edge of asteroid debris in 6 minutes. Chance of survival, 57.19%. Warning. Engine cluster 4, main propulsion damaged. Unable to regain course. Activating emergency protocol. Reviving flight crew from suspended animation. Unable to activate flight crew Susan pods. Attempting to reroute systems. Reroute successful. Activating flight crew Susan pods.
What's happening? Are we there yet?
Oh dear.
Well, what do we do now? Does anyone have any bright ideas?
Don't start panicking. We have to keep the children calm.
We're all children, in case you haven't noticed. None of us is over 17.
You know very well I meant the younger ones. Glenn, Michael, and Patricia have gone to the command bridge to talk to ISIS and see what's going on.
As their parents are part of the flight crew, they'll have greater knowledge of the ship and its operations.
We all did space training before we left, and my mother is one of the pilots.
Yes, but they've spent more time around ISIS.
I hate that computer. Gives me the creeps.
Do you like anyone?
Of course I do. I just prefer being able to look the person I'm talking to in the eyes.
There's a holographic avatar that can be accessed.
Except that she's modeled after that actress I hate.
I rest my case.
Jeanette and I are taking a few of the others down to engineering to look at the damage.
Damage.
Oh, you shouldn't eavesdrop on older conversations.
I wasn't eavesdropping. I came over when I heard someone mention Michael's name.
And you've been here that whole time? Very sneaky.
I wasn't sneaking.
Then why didn't I notice you until you spoke?
Because you ignore any of us that are under 12. We're not just here because our parents are. Every family had to pass the aptitude test and training.
That means even you had to pass the exam test.
Michael!
I didn't see you come back.
That's because I'm so sneaky. Hi, May.
Hello, Michael.
Actually, I just came to see if CJ and Janet are ready to head down to engineering.
I think you had better explain the situation to the others before Connor Jr. and I leave.
Yes, Michael. What's going on?
I think I should tell everyone to stop rumors from spreading and cause a panic. Everyone!
Quiet.
Come on, guys. Could I have your attention, please? Thanks. Okay. Glenn, Trish, and I have been talking to ISIS. Apparently, as we're approaching our new home, we passed through the remains of an unexpected asteroid collision. As you may have guessed, a couple smaller pieces hit us. As you may have noticed, we survived!
What's happening? Where are my mommy and daddy?
It's alright. Our parents are still in stasis, still sleeping. One of the asteroids knocked out some of the computer controls, and ISIS accidentally woke us up instead of them. But it's okay. Glenn and Patricia are talking with ISIS now, and I will be going back to the bridge to see what we can do about waking them up before we reach Neos Cosmos. It won't be long. Just hang in there.
You're not telling us everything, are you?
There's no point in starting a panic. CJ, Jeanette, you two get down to engineering.
All right.
Aye, aye, Captain. See you later. Carrie, you still owe me that rematch at charades.
You're going down, Sinclair.
You wish.
I'd better get back up to the bridge. You three try to keep everyone calm and occupied.
It's okay, big brother. I know you meant to say you four. I'll keep the little one busy.
Thanks, sis. You're the best.
You know.
Well, I'm stuck for ideas. How about you, Trish?
We need to review the situation again.
Okay, but let's wait for Michael to come back.
You called?
How did it go?
I sent CJ and Jeanette with a few of the tech kids down to check the damage in engineering.
And the others?
I gave them a censored version. I left the worst out of the news.
Good call.
Thanks. I didn't want to start a panic. So, what have you two been up to?
Not much. We were waiting for you so we could go over it one more time.
Okay. Isis, could you give us an overview again, without the play-by-play?
Certainly, Michael. As humanity approached the star system, I detected an unexpected asteroid collision in our paths. I attempted a course correction, but some of the debris struck the ship. Primary damage is to engine cluster 4, and several subsystems were knocked out.
First things first, why did you wake us, the children, instead of the flight crew?
I am sorry, Patricia. The main stasis chambers were taken offline, and when I attempted to reroute the controls through another system, it led me to believe I was activating the flight crew's Susan pods.
I take it that was one of the subsystems that was damaged.
That is correct, Glenn. I am still unable to awaken the remaining sleepers. I cannot trust the accuracy of the subsystem's data.
Could we try waking them manually?
That is a possibility. However, none of you has the clearance codes necessary to operate major ship systems.
Couldn't you override the codes for us?
I'm afraid not, Michael. One of my primary programs is the protection of the children, which includes denying access to any part of the ship or its systems that may harm them or cause damage to the humanity. I have not been programmed for any exceptions. An oversight on my designers, I would say.
So would I.
So, what's humanity's status right now?
Humanity is off course by 27 degrees. Damage to the engines prevents course or speed corrections.
So we'll miss Neo's Cosmos.
That is correct, Glenn. Our current course will take us within 3 million kilometers of Neo's Cosmos sun.
So, if we aren't roasted to death or killed by radiation immediately...
You will remain in a slowly decaying orbit around the sun.
But if we can get the engines online...
And gain access to the ship's control...
Then you will have increased your survival chances to 31.29%.
What are they now?
0.191%.
You had to ask.
Engineering to bridge. Are you there, Mike?
I'm here, CJ. What's it look like?
There's almost no damage down here, but the exterior cameras show that engine cluster 4 is really bent. Even if we did get the engines going again, we'd have to disconnect the one, or we'd go like a pinwheel when we fired them.
Can you disconnect it?
Jeanette here. I think so. If Isis could talk us through it, I only have basic knowledge on nuclear propulsion.
I am unable to authorize such actions, as they would endanger the children.
You have to be kidding me.
What if it was only a training exercise?
What are you talking about, Glenn?
If we were to assume that the information obtained was for use in a hypothetical situation?
Exactly!
Then it would be possible. If Jeanette were to assure me that this information was for use in theory only, and that she will not attempt to actually take an engine offline.
Yes, of course. Theory only. I'm not really going to tinker with a nuclear-powered engine.
But won't Isis be able to see what you're doing over the shipboard monitors?
What do you know? All of the cameras in engineering went offline, with the engines.
No, they didn't, Jeanette. I can see... Oh, cameras in engineering have failed.
No doubt a delayed failure due to the damage to the engineering section.
No doubt.
As I was saying, Isis, I can assure you that I'm only interested in hypothetically taking the engines offline.
Very well. The necessary information is being downloaded to your comlink now.
Got it. We'll get to work on our hypothetical problem.
Great. You have... Isis, how long until we reach the sun?
Approximately 4 days, 6 hours, and 19 minutes.
When is our best chance to correct our course?
47 hours, 52 minutes.
Right. You have 36 hours. I'm not taking any chances.
We'll get right on it.
Engine room out.
Great. We have 2 days to get the ship back on course. And if not, only 2 more until we fly into the sun. No problems.
HCPS Humanity Ship Log, 17,381 days from departure of Sol System. Ship's computer, ISIS recording. Upon entering star system of Neos Cosmos, humanity encountered an unexpected asteroid collision, sending the vessel off course and sustaining significant damage to Engine Cluster 4 and several important ship subsystems. While attempting to revive the flight crew, a subsystem malfunction led to the accidental activation of the children's Susan pods instead. Flight crew and adult colonists remain in suspended animation. I am working with those children of the flight crew and colonists who, fortunately, were given basic training on ship systems and controls. Unfortunately, the children do not have access to secured ship's controls, including manual override of the Susan pods or flight systems. Current course heading will take us within close orbit of Neos Cosmos' sun with an estimated 90 hours. Course correction needed to reach Neos Cosmos must be initiated in no more than 34 hours, 29 minutes. While working on solutions for current situation with Michael Ashton, Glenn Herring, and Patricia Roman on Control Bridge, and Connor Blake Jr. and Jeanette Sinclair in engineering, I am simultaneously monitoring the remaining children, who, so far, seem relatively calm.
Okay, what are you doing now?
Is she conducting an orchestra?
No, Susan, she's waving a wand.
She's Harry Potter.
You and Harry Potter, Lori. Why'd you keep reading those? They're like 1,000 years old.
Actually, if you count our time asleep, plus taking into account Einstein's theory of relativity, they'll be over 150 years old. They're what you call classics.
They're what I call boring.
They're not boring, Randy. And anyway, Carrie is being a wizard. Thank you. I thought you'd all forgotten about our game of charades.
Okay, so far we have the wizard. What's next?
No, she's making scissors. It's of.
The wizard of?
Why is she waving at the little kids?
The Wizard of Kids?
No. The Wizard of Children?
The Wizard of Rugrats?
Very funny, Randy.
Why, thank you, Bonnie. Not many appreciate my sense of humor.
She's pointing out Rosalind. The Wizard of Rosalind? No, cut it short. Roz or Lynn?
Roz.
The Wizard of Roz?
Sounds like Roz.
Laws?
Give up.
Oh my goodness, it's the Wizard of Oz.
Never heard of him.
Are you kidding? It's a famous book. They made a bunch of movies of it.
So right up there with Harry Potter, then.
It's much older than Harry Potter.
I rest my case.
My turn.
Wait, is it a movie? I don't know many movies.
They're too old.
This is starting to get to me. What is happening? We haven't seen Jeanette or the others since just after we woke up. And Michael just keeps popping in saying, everything's fine, won't be much longer. Much longer till what? As the eldest, we should be told the whole truth. Not just the cut and paste version Michael tells everyone. We can handle it.
Can we, Tess? What if it's far worse than Michael lets on? What if we're just drifting through empty space, or worse, heading directly into a sun?
Well, I'd rather know that than be left to make up things in my head.
The things we make up in our heads are always much more frightening than the truth.
Very philosophical, Haji.
I wasn't being philosophical. That's just something my gran used to say.
Well, your gran was very wise, Haji, and she was right. Here we are making up doomsday scenarios when the truth is probably just a loose wire or something.
Really? A loose wire? You really think all those brainiacs are out there looking for a loose wire?
Stranger things have happened.
Yes, there's a story that in the early part of the century, most of the northeast coast of the United States lost power because a bird flew into its transformer.
Well, that's ancient history. This is here and now, and in case you didn't notice, there are no birds on board. You see, the kids are starting to get restless and upset. We can't keep playing games and telling stories all day and night.
Tess is correct.
Thank you.
I'm not endorsing your point of view, merely your conclusion.
What do you mean?
Well, the original mission plan called for the flight crew to awaken first to conduct the landing of humanity on Neo's Cosmos. Then, the adult colonists would be revived to begin setting up the colony and assessing any dangers posed by native flora and fauna, etc.
Flora and fauna?
Plants and animals.
Oh.
The children, we, were to be awakened last, once a safe perimeter had been established. However, events have occurred that have disrupted the original timeline.
Yes, we woke up first instead of last.
Kind of throws a wrench in the works, doesn't it?
I'll say, suddenly we're responsible for the whole expedition and everyone on it.
Exactly. And we're not acting responsibly by sitting here babysitting.
Tess, where are you going?
To the bridge to find out what's really going on.
I'd better go after her. Come on, May.
What about us?
Stay here and try to keep everyone calm.
Easy for them to say.
Okay, kids, we're going to have a sing-along. Come on, Isis, can we just use the training exercise excuse to get around the security protocols?
I'm afraid not, Glenn. Jeanette and the others are simply using restricted information given to them to solve a hypothetical situation. Handing over actual control of the ship's flights and other systems to you and the others requires security clearance unavailable for either of us.
Spugs, there's gotta be a way.
Here, Glenn, have a drink and something to eat. You must be starving by now.
Might as well.
Well, buddy, any luck?
I tried everything, Mug. At this rate, I might as well get out and push.
Not bad, huh?
I've got one last option, but I don't even want to think about it.
Why? What is it?
It's way too risky, if not outright dangerous.
We haven't much time left, Glenn. Risky is starting to look pretty good about now.
Come on, Glenn. You're the smartest kid aboard, but don't let Jeanette know I said that.
I tell you, it's Sue's saddle, but here goes. If we...
Alright, will someone tell me what's really going on?
I'm sorry, Michael. We tried to stop her.
But Tess has a single purpose of mind.
I just feel, as one of the oldest here, I have the right to... Oh my stars. On the monitor. Is that the sun?
Well, not our sun. I mean our old sun, anyway. It's our new sun, Scorpius.
But it looks so close. Are you magnifying it?
I'm afraid not.
Then why is it so close?
You wanted the truth, Tess? Well, here it is. Humanity is off course, and if we don't change it, we are going to end up in a very close orbit around the sun.
What?
When is this supposed to happen?
If we don't alter course in about 88 hours...
Then alter course?
We can't.
What do you mean you can't? Just tell that stupid computer to turn the ship.
Isis won't listen to us.
Why not?
My programming does not allow sufficient system access to the children.
That includes you, Tess. By the way, we're all considered children.
Wait, is anyone turning 18 in the next day or so?
I'm afraid not, Casey. Even if they were, they would still not have sufficient security clearance.
It was just an idea.
Speaking of ideas, Glenn was just going to tell us his latest one.
I need to think about it a bit more. It's pretty drastic.
What do you mean? You don't have time to think? We've got to do something.
Tess, stop!
You're going to damage something.
Tess. It's okay. Here. There. We're going to be alright. If Glenn has an idea, it's going to be a good one. He just needs a little more time to work out the kinks. Right, Glenn?
What? Oh, yeah. Right. Just an hour or two.
See, and we still have 32 hours to change course.
And after 32 hours?
We spend the next 54 slowly burning to death.
Good job, Glenn.
Well, May asked.
What Glenn makes up for in intelligence, he lacks in common sense.
Okay. I think that's enough for now. Let's all get some rest for a bit.
What was that?
I don't think I want to know.
Engineering to bridge! Engineering to bridge!
What is it, CJ?
As we were disconnecting one of the power feeds to the Cluster 4, there was a sudden change in its pressure and a piece of bulkhead blew out into space. It must have been weakened when the cluster column got bent. We've sealed this section off for now.
Is everyone okay? CJ, is everyone okay? CJ!
We lost Jeanette.
HCPS Humanity Ship Log, 20,785 days from departure, Sol System. ISIS recording. Humanity is still off course. All attempts by the children to gain control of the ship have so far failed. Ship will enter close solar orbit of Scorpius in 58 hours, 17 minutes. Time remaining for possible effective course change, 7 hours, 52 minutes. While the children were attempting to bypass damaged engine cluster 4, a catastrophic bulkhead failure occurred. Before the section could be sealed off, preventing further damage, Jeanette Sinclair was ejected from the ship into space by the explosive pressure loss. This incident has had a profound impact on the children, as none of them has experienced the death of a peer. With the aid of some senior children, I am attempting to counsel the others through the grieving process. Side note, though it does not seem logical or fall within my programming, I am experiencing a sense of loss and guilt over the death, since it was I who provided the restricted information that enabled Jeanette to attempt the actions that led to the incident causing her death. I realize that this is not sound thinking, as the accident could not have been foreseen, and inaction would ultimately lead to the deaths of the entire complement of the humanity, which my programming compels me to prevent, if possible. Still, it troubles me.
I still can't believe it.
Jeanette was with my group during training. We had become very close.
I'm afraid Tess is unconsolable.
Where is she? I haven't seen her since she ran from the bridge.
She has closed herself in one of the cabins.
Why do they have cabins anyway? We were supposed to sleep the whole way.
The humanity is, to be our temporary home once we land, until the permanent housing is built.
I have also wondered why the planet has been named New World in Greek, Neos Cosmos, rather than the traditional Latin Terra Nova.
The directors of the Human Continuity Project deliberately used the Greek as Terra Nova was the name the ancient explorers gave to the America. As that colonization became more of a conquest, the directors thought to disassociate the mission of peaceful colonization with that one.
I see.
You do? Because I didn't understand half of what she just said.
You should study more history, Haji. You could learn from your own nation's past the repressive nature of early colonization.
Put it this way, Haji. We're not coming here to steal their gold to take home and make someone rich.
Has anyone seen Michael?
He went back up to the bridge with Glenn and Patricia. Is everything okay?
I'm scared. So are we.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Are not.
Are.
Not.
Are.
Oh, right. That's enough. Boy, this is like a babysitter's nightmare. Maybe I'm still in hibernation and dreaming of all this. Ow! Why'd you pinch me, Haji?
To see if you're sleeping.
My guess is you're not.
So frustrating, Randy, but at least you're funny.
Sometimes.
CJ, boy, you're a mess. That's what happens when you're crawling in power access compartments.
How are things coming?
We're done. We've just disconnected Cluster 4. Now Mike and company just have to gain control and we can move this bucket.
The question is, can they get control?
Okay, Glenn, we're out of options. CJ and his crew got Cluster 4 offline. Time for your drastic measures.
I'm not even sure it'll work.
You'll have to take the chance.
Time's a ticking, buddy.
Okay, this might, I say might work. We need to get control of the ship, but ISIS won't let us.
I'm sorry, Glenn. I wish there was something I could do.
It's not your fault, Isis. It's your programming.
Yes, but it is also my programming to protect the crew and passengers, and I can't even do that. First, Jeanette, I can do nothing to stop humanity's destruction. I am a failure. You may as well shut me down.
That's just what I plan to do.
What?
The only thing keeping us from gaining control of humanity is ISIS. If she is shut down, the ship has to be flown manually.
Of course. Why didn't we think of that before?
I did. The problem is, if we shut her down completely, most of the ship system will go down too, and I don't know if I could restart them.
You couldn't. There are 127 protocols involved in startup.
I know, and we don't have the clearance for that information.
Whatever happened to books?
There are plenty of books in the ship's library, Michael. Plus, more can be printed using the source material from the planet. But that was a rhetorical question, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
As I always say, though there's always a loophole.
You don't always say that. Shh. Sorry, carry on, Glenn.
We can't shut ISIS down completely, but we can reset her.
What's the difference?
A reset doesn't completely shut ISIS down. It only takes her offline temporarily.
For how long?
About a minute.
58.39 seconds.
I stand corrected.
But is that enough time to change our course?
It should be. I estimate if we start 5 minutes from now, we would need 1 10-second burn and 3 5-second burns timed about 8 seconds apart.
That gives us 48 seconds to make the maneuvers.
And 10.39 seconds to spare. Let's do this!
Just a minute. Couldn't we just use the time to wake the captain?
Sure, if you want to wake him up dead.
The awakening procedure takes a full 7 minutes. If you rush the process, you risk sending the body into shock.
It was just an idea.
Alright, Michael. You need to open the access panel on the bottom of the bridge computer station.
Why Michael?
He's the only one who can reach the circuit switch.
How do you know all of this?
I looked it up a while ago. Fortunately, it's not classified information.
Okay, what next?
There should be a yellow box with the ISIS logo and an acronym on it.
Yeah, I see it.
There's a release to open it.
Yep, just let me... Ah! My hand!
Oh, Michael, I'm so sorry. There was an electrical malfunction of which I was unaware. I have disabled the current.
Oh my goodness! Your hand, Michael! The skin is burned almost to a crisp.
Electricity can do that.
Quick, Pat, get the med kit from the wall by the door.
Here, Michael, give me your hand. How's that?
Better. The pain's almost gone. But my hand feels like it's encased in cement.
I know. The skin salve immobilizes the limb while it heals. I fell into a campfire and burned my knee badly once. I walked around for 2 days like a peg-legged pirate.
Can you reach the switch with your other hand?
I'll be fine, Glenn. Thanks for asking.
Sorry, Mike, but time's a-ticking.
Okay. ISIS, are you sure you disconnected this?
Yes, Michael. It's quite safe. I've done enough damage already.
Okay. Here it goes. It's open!
Great. There should be a bank of gray switches. You want the third one down on the right.
Yeah,
Switch it from CR to BR.
done. Now what?
We can now reset ISIS from here, instead of going all of the way down to the computer room.
Right, seconds count.
So, what do we do next?
In 3 minutes, you will go to the computer station and reset ISIS, while I direct Michael at the pilot controls for my station at navigation.
Glenn, slight flaw in your plan.
What flaw? I've worked it all out.
Glenn, look at Michael's hand. He can't operate the control like that.
Spugs, what are we going to do? Michael's the only one who's trained to fly this thing.
Tess.
Where?
No, Tess can fly humanity. She actually outflew me in a couple of simulations.
But Tess is a mess. She's taking the whole situation really hard. Especially after Jeanette.
Carrie will get her up here.
Well, she better do it quick. We can extend our window by 5 more minutes, but I'll have to add another 5-second burst.
There goes our cushion.
Tess! Teresa Summerfield! You open the door this instant!
Don't call me that. No one calls me that except my grandmother.
Well, I'm going to keep calling you Teresa, until you smarten up and come out of that cabin, Teresa.
What's the point? We're all going to die, like Jeanette.
Jeanette had an accident. She died trying to save all of us.
Well, it didn't do any good, did it? Because we're still flying into the sun.
That's what you get for hiding yourself away. The engines are fixed. We're going to try altering course in a few minutes.
Then why do you need me to come out? Why didn't you just leave me here? You don't need me.
Yes, we do. Michael's been hurt.
Michael! Is he...
He's fine. Just burned his hand badly.
Then why do you need me?
Because Michael can't fly humanity with one hand. We need you to do it.
Me? But
Look, I'd love to hear all about your lame arguments and all about your insecurities, but we only have 3 minutes to get to the bridge and get this Hulk moving. Michael says you're the best pilot besides him that's not taking an extended nap right now.
Michael said that?
Do I have to give you the puppy dog eyes?
No. Let's go.
Attention everyone. We are going to try to get humanity back on course. That means things will be a bit shaky for a minute or so. It would be best if you all went back to your sustenance pods and strapped in. We'll be starting in about 2 minutes. Oh, by the way, lights and a few minor systems might go out for a second or two. So don't worry. Bridge out.
Okay, Tess, I marked which stabilizers you need to use during each engine burn. We don't have time for a dry run, so you'll just have to listen carefully and follow my exact directions. Got it?
Got it. But one thing.
What?
Enjoy this while you can, because when this is over, if you ever try to boss me around again, I'll kill you. Got it?
If we're still alive after this, I will hold you in the highest regard.
1 minute.
Okay. Everyone ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job with the kid. I knew you could get Tess up here.
As soon as I told her you weren't hurt, she suddenly became interested.
Yeah, well, thanks again.
Casey, May, CJ, what are you doing here? We're about to start in 20 seconds.
Well, we figured there was plenty of empty acceleration chairs on the bridge.
I find the coffin stifling.
You've been around Lieutenant Hearing too much. I wanted to see the results of my and Jeanette's hand-eye work.
Well, strap in. You're going to in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit the reset, Pat.
Good luck, everyone. I love you all.
That was weird.
Quiet.
Uh-oh.
Great. It's working. How does it look, Tess?
Everything's green.
Great. Begin 10-second burst on clusters. 2, and 3 on my mark. 3, 2, 1. Mark! Three, 2, 1. Cut him! Great. 5-second burst on cluster. 1 and 3, 2, 1. Mark! Cut power! Okay. Cluster 2 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Mark!
What was that?
Cut him!
Probably the bulkhead we repaired. It was kind of a patch job.
Okay, Tess. 5 on 1 and 3. Go! Cut! One more 5 and a 10 and we'll be set. Okay, Tess. 5 seconds on cluster. 1. Go! No.
What the?
Cut the engines, Tess.
That did not sound good.
Okay. This is it. All engines. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Mark! Hit the engines, Tess.
I am! They're not responding!
Something must have happened in the last explosion.
Come on, come on, come on!
Artificial Intelligence Starship System Integration, Series 6 online. Good morning, Commander Blake.
No! I've lost the controls! They won't respond!
Isis, you need to cut the engines!
You are not Commander Blake. Who am I addressing?
I'm Michael Gent, son of ship's pilot Simone Gent.
Why are there unaccompanied children on the bridge? This is most irregular.
Isis, consult the ship's log. It'll explain everything.
Consulting. Oh dear, children. I am so sorry.
That's great. We cut the engines with 7 seconds over burn time.
I apologize, Glenn. It took me a moment to analyze the situation.
Isis, you're back. I thought you'd forgotten us.
I almost did, Carrie. Fortunately, knowing that a reset would erase all memories accumulated since my initial activation, I stored them among the ship's logs so that, when consulted, they would return to me.
Memories? Since when does a computer have memories? I thought they just stored data.
Simple computers do, Tess, but Isis is an advanced artificial intelligence. She learns and adapts.
That is correct, Patricia. I was programmed to protect the crew and colonists during the voyage, and act as a teacher to the children upon establishment of the colony.
And so to help us through this crisis, you developed a maternal instinct.
Correct again, Patricia. It seems a logical, right thing to do. I notice we are no longer on course for the sun. Your plan seems to have worked, Glenn.
No, it didn't.
What? What do you mean?
Are you sure?
What?
Because the engines fired too late, and for too long, we were not going to make it to Neo's Cosmos.
Where are we going then?
Nowhere. We're essentially stopped, dead. We're stuck here.
Couldn't you just repeat what you did and get us back on course? We can't without engines.
What happened, CJ?
The last explosion was the main engine separating.
Ow.
They fired after the explosion.
My guess is that the Cluster 4 was so twisted it held the whole engine assembly in place, at least enough to keep the control circuits connected. Once they stopped, it must have finally let go because it's not attached anymore.
Your theory seems sound, CJ, especially as the engine assembly is 2.3 kilometers to stern and drifting away.
Why would the engine separate like that?
The engines are powered by nuclear reactors, Carrie. They were designed to detach in case of an accident and before we landed to prevent an accident. Plus, they were pretty bulky.
But how could we land without engines?
We still have maneuvering thrusters and anti-grav that are powered by humanity's cold fusion reactor.
Couldn't we just use the thrusters and anti-gravs to get back on course?
They're not powerful enough. They were meant to keep us stable during landing. The planet's gravity would do most of the work.
So we're just going to drift out here in space forever.
At least until the food and water supplies run out in a few years.
That's assuming the adults don't wake up.
All that? For nothing?
Humanity, this is Captain Heather Jackson of the FTL ship Hermes. Please respond.
What the?
Another starship?
And they know who we are?
I repeat, this is Captain Heather Jackson of the FTL ship Hermes. Please respond. We saw your engines fire just before they separated. Do you require assistance?
What should we do?
My guess is to answer then.
Isis!
No, Michael. You must answer.
Me?
You are the crew now. You have all proved that through your actions. And Michael, you have taken the role of leader. If there are no objections, I recommend Michael Gent represent the temporary crew of humanity as their captain.
How you've proven yourself.
Humanity, can you read me?
You better answer them, Captain.
This is Michael Gent, in temporary command of humanity. Hermes, we require assistance.
Who is this? Where is Captain Blake?
He's sleeping at the moment. Can I help you?
You're a kid. How are you commanding humanity?
It's a very long story, ma'am.
How about we pull up alongside and get emergency crew on board? Then you can explain to me why kids are in command of Starship.
That sounds like a plan to me. And there we were, dead in space. That's when you showed up.
Good thing, too.
Yeah, and great timing. What I'd like to know is how?
Yes, there were no other vessels under construction at the time of our departure.
No, there weren't. Hermes was only commissioned about 14 months ago. That means you had to have faster-than-light capabilities.
That's right, son. About 25 years after you left, the discovery of the natures of dark energy and dark matter led to the invention of faster-than-light technology.
But it took another 10 years to develop that technology into a working engine.
And Hermes is the first spaceship to be fitted with faster-than-light engines.
Chief Prophet is very proud of her engines, but it takes a lot more to safely navigate space at those speeds.
You'd need something even more sophisticated than ISIS, I imagine.
Silly, your ISIS was the basis for our computer. Simon is the Starship Artificial Intelligence Model 109.
I don't think we should tell ISIS, Dr. Gates. It might make her feel old.
If you, don't mind my interjecting, I have a question.
Of course, Captain Blake. I'm sure you have a lot of them.
Oh, I don't know if you can stay long enough to answer them all.
We've plenty of time. We sent an FTL communication pod back to Earth. I'm sure they'll be glad to know you made it.
Well, that's my question. What is happening on Earth? When we left, it was in a state of environmental and social collapse.
I think Dr. Gates is the best one to answer that.
Spoil the ending, and tell you that things are looking up on planet Earth. The environment is on the mend, and there's a single united world government run by the people.
What do you mean by the people, ma'am?
I mean, there are no more corporate-sponsored politicians running the government for their own personal agendas. At least, that's the idea. Shortly after you left, there was an almost worldwide revolution. All over the globe, people got smart and brave. They went on strike, marched on houses of government, and refused to vote the status quo, choosing independent candidates they could really trust. To make a long story short, the corporations and special interests lost their grip on government, and the people ruled.
That's a simplified version, and there are still countries that are struggling. That's basically the way things are.
It's partly thanks to humanity that it happened at all, and why we came here on our maiden voyage.
Why's that?
The news of humanity spread like a virus, despite efforts to quiet it.
People thought if the situation was so bad that someone would go to the lengths you did, then something had to be done there and then.
And to wait until they hear the rest of the story, you will become legend.
No?
Children saving the ship from disaster? I think so.
It still would have been a disaster if you haven't arrived when you did.
I doubt it, young man. If you were able to save the humanity in the little time you had, I'm sure you could have found a way to get to Neo's Cosmos eventually.
You noticed, Glenn, how the backup system automatically woke the crew as Hermes towed us into orbit.
You are the bravest bunch of young people I have ever met. No, you're the bravest people I've ever met. Young or old.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you, Michael, and you, Carrie.
I didn't really do anything, Mom.
You kept the youngest children calm and occupied. Not an easy task for an adult, especially considering the circumstances.
I'm recommending you all get combination.
What's that?
Medals, Carrie Berry.
Don't call me that.
Neos Cosmos Colony Log, Year 1, Day 1. Humanity is now safely on the planet's surface. The colonists have begun the task of building their new home. On the way down, scanners detected a number of primitive civilizations elsewhere on the planet. However, the colonists were sure to pick a site that was minimum of 1,000 kilometers from the nearest village, and plan on avoiding any contact as long as possible, so as not to interfere with their cultural and scientific progress. As for the children, they are taking as much pride and care in their new home as any here. I am very proud of them, and although they have their differences, I think they're going to be just fine. After all, they truly are the children of humanity.
You have been listening to The Children of Humanity, written and directed by Colin Sears. In the cast you heard Sophie Anderson as Dr. Samuel and Patricia, Brianna Lezak as Dr. Mifune and Tess, Quentin Favre as Dr. Emile and Michael, Maya Sweck as Dr. Douglas and Mei Lee, Briarwood as Isis, Caleb Levesque as Glenn, Sophie Corkum as Carrie, Marissa Zoli as Casey, CJ, and Captain Heather Jackson, Talia Wakeham as Jeanette, Bonnie, and Dr. Gates. Also in the cast were Colin Sears as Captain Connor Blake and Professor Kuznetsov, Allison Iorfita Sinclair as Susan, Madison Murray as Lori and Sonia, and Rebecca Sider as Pamela and Chief Engineer Sinclair. The announcer was Lori Sears. This has been a color theatrical production in association with the Niagara Falls School of Drama. Visit their website at nfschoolofdrama.com.